So, Frederieke, in July, mid of July, there will be a Fryske Hakaworkshop with Toroa, organized by you. What are the hopes, the expectations, or what is the background to do a Fryske Haka?
Yes, well, I have to take you a little bit on a story
Yeah, please.
because it didn't come out of falling out of the air just by, like so. Of course, when I met Toroa and I learned, he told me that he was doing this Haka workshop. I was really excited because I thought that's very powerful. And but it just kept a bit aside because I was doing this series with him about Pawaka and Toroa, and I had a lot of other stuff going on. And then we had a very nice ceremonial day with the Alifuru. They come from Maluku. And this ceremony was in the Netherlands. And some other wisdom keepers from different cultures were coming to this ceremony. So they had this welcome singing. And it was like a dancing. And it was a bit like the Haka. And I saw it and I heard it and I just started crying. And I've had this also when I hear the powwow, I start crying. When I hear the Haka, I start crying. So I was like, wow, so these are these ancestral lineages that I feel because I don't cry myself. I do because it's beautiful, but I can sense there's so much ancient connection that's happy, the ancestors are happy that they hear it again, that we hear it. And then I thought, I want to ask Toroa to do a Haka in the Netherlands. And in the meantime, I was connecting more and more to my Frisian background. And I've been asked to join some circles from my lineal background, from my Frisian background. So I thought, maybe it's about time to do this. And I should do it in Friesland. And I thought I should do this in the Frisian language because then, then we can reconnect with this inner power that we have, not from battling or from war or from anger or something like that, but just to have this this feeling of this inner strength and contain it, Well, you've done Haka, so you know how it works, but you have to reconnect and feel, how can I contain this strength and own it and embody it in a pure way, like it's meant to be. And well, it's not pretty easy to do this and to organize this. Because as soon as you set this intention, and I talked with Toroa about it, a lot of stuff started to happen. A lot of things started to move. And so I don't want to go too deep into the real personal stuff about it, but you can sense that we are going to do something which is pretty scary, actually. Because we're going to use the language that not everybody really likes. When I'm in the rest of the Netherlands and I speak Frisian, or they can hear I'm from the north, well, I'm not ashamed anymore speaking my language. I'm actually proud speaking my language because now I can feel this long, long lineage with an ancient tribe, the Frisian. But before I was aware of it like the first 45 years of my life, I was ashamed that people could hear I'm from Friesland. Because, like we are just out there in this province, and there we are allowed to speak Frisian, and there we are allowed to do our Frisian things. But as soon as we cross the border of Friesland to some of the other provinces or to the Netherlands, then it doesn't feel free anymore. People, I've been judged. I've been not taken seriously. I've been laughed at. And this is changing. And I think it's important it's changing. And yes. I started to think I want to do a Frisian Haka. And we're going to do this with all Frisian people, I'm going to do it in our language. And I was like, yeah, this is going to be tough and strong. But then I would exclude other people. Then I would do with other people what I have felt. So I would actually want to organize it with the doors open.
Mhm.
Everybody can join in. And we're going to do Dutch and we're going to do Frisian. And I organized it on the border of the 3 provinces of Friesland, Groningen, and Drenthe. There's 3 northern provinces. And when you go far back, then you will find that the Frisian people lived all along this North Sea coast. So from Norway to Denmark, the north of Germany, Ostfriesland, you know this, of course.
Yeah.
And then along the sea coast, all the way down to Belgium and even into the north of France. But there was also land that connected, as I have understood, England and Ireland with the Netherlands.
Mhm.
So the Frisians went up there too. And I think a lot of Dutch people, when they go far back, they will discover they have Frisian ancestors.
Yes.
And how cool would it be just to reconnect again with that? Because a lot of Dutch people, they just adopt a different culture, a lot of a Native American culture, which I think is beautiful because it helped me to open up also, to get this first connection with the animals again and to understand how to reconnect with the elements. So I'm really, really grateful for that. But I think the call is to go back to your own ancestral lineage, to your own tribe. And then when you go back far enough, then you end up with this unity that we all are, with all these same connections with the stars and with the earth and with fire, water, air, you know, all these things. We all have this in the same way. It's universal.
Yes.
So that's why I want to do the Haka in the Friesland. Long
So
story. Yeah.
no, it sounds beautiful. And I have had an interview with Britta, who is North Frisian. And she has so many, so really fascinating stories to tell about her land and also the names, the ancient names and the meanings and so on. It's really fascinating. And me, with my broken roots, I'm really in trouble to find my roots, coming from 2 refugee families and to know where I'm from. I listen to these stories and for me it sounds great. And missing my own homeland, if you like, so I use, for example, the Haka done or proposed by Toroa to reconnect with something bigger than me. What let me refine this union with other people. And I can be, and Toroa also say the same like you, that when we go far enough backwards, we were all the same. And for me, this is healing. You know, I love that. And I love when people have found their identity, and then when they fill it out and feel good then in themselves, but not as a limitation or exclusion, but with a real strengthening, anchoring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had to come to that idea because I was so excited. I was like, okay, the Frisian people, they have been pushed down so much. We have to help them just to feel powerful again, you know, like and there's a lot going on in Friesland because we're actually still free people. It's in writing. The born and the unborn Frisians are free people.
Nice.
But we don't live it, you know, we don't even know it, we don't stand for it. And this is what is going on in Friesland. And that of course was also my first idea. This is from us, you know. I want to have my own drive and I want to feel it, and I want to have this language being shouted, you know. I want to hear the strength in the words. And then I thought, well, I remember a friend once said to me, when you speak Frisian to somebody else on the phone, or when we're in a group and you have just like 1 or 2 words with someone who also is Frisian, that I can feel that I cannot connect to that. It's so strongly connected as soon as you speak your language that I'm not part of it. And it felt a little bit as if he blamed me for doing it. He probably didn't, but it was the first thing I could feel like, oh, you see, I'm not allowed to speak my language. I have been excluded someone, even though it was only for 2 words. And I know how that feels, and now I'm doing it. And then, of course, I was a little bit angry because the other one made me feel like that, you know, and it was, this whole thing was starting up. I was like, this cannot be the way it should be. It should be open, and we should, like you and I speak Frisian, then I speak Dutch, and now we speak English. You speak German and French, and we have to do this conversation in English.
Yes.
But we don't speak our own language. And so if I would speak in Frisian, it would be easier for me. Als ik Fries praat is zo, hoor, dan kom ik in contact met waar ik ben. En dan wordt het plastic makkelijker voor mij. En dan is het echt niet meer spannend. En dan is het echt niet meer gevaarlijk. So if I would speak my Frisian, I would feel so much more me. And then it would be less exciting. And it would not be dangerous anymore.
For me, that sounds pretty. And I would even love to make the experience to do the Fryske Haka, just to feel how it would feel inside of me, you know. And I'm living in France, so permanently I need to speak in a foreign language. And when I speak in French, I definitely lost parts of my own identity. I cannot show and I cannot express in French because French is not my mother tongue. I learned it quite well, but what I am, who I am, it is left out somehow when I'm speaking French. And it can be a source of frustration, also because social behavior codes are different, and I try not to focus on it, but it can really be frustrating because the people cannot read me because this is completely unknown and French is not the source to express and to show it. And so there still is a gap what left unfilled.
I totally understand, because I, of course, have to speak Dutch all the time.
Yeah.
Even in my work, even in my work, and sometimes I have to do it in English or German. But lately, and that's very interesting too, that I get more and more clients from Friesland. So in my work as a past life regression therapist, I work with people in their ancestral lineages and also in their past lives, also in the previous, in this current life, but also in their past lives. And sometimes I have clients that do have ancestors coming from Friesland, but they were brought up somewhere else in the Netherlands, so they don't speak Frisian. And when we go into these ancestral lineages, then sometimes I start to talk Frisian in connection with their grandparents or great-grandparents, or depends how far we go back. And then suddenly it starts to flow. And sometimes my clients starts to speak for them in Frisian also.
Yeah, you see.
So language can be so important to go to the deepest feelings and emotions, and just to open up what's there hidden inside, you know, what's just pushed down and that hasn't been known for a long time. So it doesn't matter if you're Frisian or German or a Dutch or what country you are, it can be good just to dive back in the lineage and see what kind of cultures are here and what kind of languages are here, what were the way they did their rituals, and how does it feel when I reconnect with that? Because maybe you still have a strong connection to it. And it helps you to, well, actually be more on earth, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, more in peace with yourself. Or like Toroa often says, I know who I am, know you who you are. And for me, definitely, this is quite tough.
Yes, we spoke a couple of weeks ago, and then he said, but you also know who you are. And I was like, yeah, I know it. When I can really, really connect. Okay, I'm going to say it. With the star being that we are.
Yeah.
And then you can connect to every culture, every language, you know, because it goes back to the core, where you come from. On the other hand, by knowing that, it's easier for me also to connect with my Frisian ancient tribe, different than from the place that I grew up with as a modern Frisian. I'm a puppy Frisian. I'm a puppy, you know. I don't know a lot about the Frisian history. I didn't have a grandfather that was a farmer that looked at the clouds and knew exactly. My dad was a teacher, and his dad was a teacher. You know, so I'm a bit like a modern Frisian. I don't even speak the old language, but it is in my DNA.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing where I really originally come from, which is from the universe as a divine being, you could say, or a light being.
Yes.
As soon as I can sense that, then I can connect and identify myself as a Frisian, because Frisians were very connected to the stars. And I think all ancient language, all ancient cultures, all ancient tribes were really connected to the stars. And they understood how to live on Earth through reading the stars. So to me, that I had to go through that process, and I'm in this process now. So I'm still reconnecting with being Frisian. I don't even know exactly what it means, you know. But I do feel as soon as I speak Frisian, something starts to happen inside.
Yes.
And if we could do a Haka, and I'm organizing it, and I hope we will have like a big group of people, Dutch people, Frisian people, even German people, I don't mind. Everybody's welcome. And we are going to experience the vibration of the language. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes.
I think it will be empowering and maybe overwhelming too. It will open up a new process again. Yeah.
Yes. I'm really excited about it. I love the idea, and I'm excited to see the outcome, or to hear from the outcome and how it felt actually. And I'm sure it brings something new into this world. I don't know how to name it, a new heart consciousness. And yeah, for me, there would be no contradiction to do it in Frisian language, just to feel the vibration and what it does to me.
I think you should come too.
Yes, I think, yeah.
You're welcome. You're invited.
Thank you very much. Oh, what a beautiful talk, dear Frederieke. And like always, it's such a pleasure to meet you and to be in contact with you, to talk with you. And thank you for that beautiful, beautiful, deep conversation.
Thank you for inviting me, Kathrin, and for sharing your story also. because that's what it makes so beautiful, that we can relate, you know, like I can relate to your story and you can relate to my story. I think that's what it's all about. If we should, so sharing a haka, sharing a ceremony, sharing these stories, the way you work with things, the way I work with things, if we just share this, then you can relate to someone else, so you can have a deeper sense of who you are. And yeah, the connection is beautiful. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm really touched. And yes, it's all about connection and reconnection, and just find ways to rebuild our ancient reconnection with ourselves, with our roots, our origins, and first of all, the people around us and Mother Earth. And then, of course, back to the stars. But first, we have a lot to do here on Earth, like with organizing Frisian Haka workshops, or also your work as a past life regression therapist. And so it all sounds so beautiful to me. It sounds like a beautiful, really meaningful work you are doing. And I'm definitely looking forward to see you in real life again.
Yes, let's hope we will meet up pretty soon again, and maybe in Friesland. We'll
yes. So I will see if I can come, because 1 week later it's Augsburg in Germany for me, a Haka workshop with Toroa too. And yes.
We'll see. We'll see what we can organize. And if not, then life will bring us on each other's path again if necessary, and if we would like to. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very, very much, Frederieke.
Thank you, Kathrin.